All right, we will call this meeting to order at 1900 hours. It's a regular meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners for Snohomish County Fire District 4, Monday, December 11th. All right, adjust agenda. Any adjustments to the agenda? All right, we'll adopt the agenda as presented. Approve meeting minutes from previous meeting.
I'll move that we approve the November 13, 2023 regular board minutes as presented.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
The motion passed. Comments, open public comments related to the agenda? District staff and work groups? No. All right. Oath of office, Craig Erickson.
All right. Like to have the family come out? Yep.
Do you want me next to you?
Well, I think so. I think you're deserving.
It's all good.
Okay, on behalf of the fire district, would you raise your right hand and read your oath of office?
I, Craig Erickson, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington, and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties of the office of Fire District 4 Commissioner, Position 2, for a 4-year term in accordance to the law and to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Garrett, we only do this once every 10 years.
You know, like the commissioner, I think it has to be more often than that.
Well, I think the last one of the 4 of us was when he got sworn in Yakima.
Yeah, that is it.
It sure was.
Yeah.
Oh, we want a picture.
I get it.
Let's get the official picture here. Yeah.
Got one so we can use it if we need it.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I do have one thing that I would like to say. Now that I've been voted in, I'd like to personally thank the voters of the fire district for allowing me this opportunity to help guide the fire district for the next 4 years. I'm excited to do that. I'd also like to thank the voters of the fire district for voting and turning out at such a high percentage. District 4 was at 45.20%, which I believe was the second highest for Snohomish County. The Town Index, I believe, was the only higher voter turnout. So it's really part that we all take part of the democratic process, and having such a high voter turnout is really good for us. It means our people that we're working for are paying attention to what's going on. So, and then I want to thank my family for all their support. All right, that's it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, old business, executive session. The board will go into executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.110 to review the performance of the fire chief. The executive session will be for 30 minutes with no action expected. Commissioner-elect Mills and past Commissioner Gleason are also invited into this executive session. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you're invited.
Yeah, that was all that, I did all that work. All that work. I don't know.
You guys are leaving? You guys are all leaving now? With no action taken at 2015. resume the regular board meeting. Informational items, accounts payable, payroll, treasurer's report, budget to actual report, expense and revenue. Any questions? I'll get your computer back up before any questions regarding those? You didn't go for it, right?
I was wondering, that the payroll account, that was just through October,
Yes.
okay?
Just the timing of the meeting doesn't allow us to balance all the other statements and county reports, get all that stuff balanced. In order for me to
So, it's gonna be about 2 months behind.
It's not always, it kind of depends on when the meeting falls. We're really close to catching it this time, but didn't quite make it.
And, the expenses that are there in the budget, those are through, the date up there is November 29th, so that's the date all those expenses are?
So what you're seeing is the actual expenses for the month of November, but the reconciled reporting and all that stuff is only through October. So your treasurer's report and your expense and revenue reports are only reconciled and completed through October.
All right, no motion needed on that. New business, surplus of equipment and vehicles.
Yeah, so as we stop using things, we come to you to surplus them. The one thing I will note, if you noticed, is in the draft, we had a bunch of hose that we're going to surplus. We found out that the training academy needs hose, and so we are probably going to they can't own anything, so we'll keep ownership of that, but it'll get transferred to use there. Still want to get all the details to make sure they need all of our hose, so you might get some of that back. But basically, a bunch of equipment we're not using. One vehicle, the snow plow. We've taken everything off the vehicle that we want to use in the future. For instance, we took the fuel hose reel off because if we do a lot of the plans at the new station, might be a need for a hose reel that can be used at the fixed facility. So we have kept things that we think we can use in the future. Any other questions?
How many miles are on that truck?
Not very many.
I think about 11,000 now.
Yeah, nothing. And we, for the last couple of years, we have used a website that does all this anymore. We don't do the yard sales here. It's all online bids, highest bidder wins and comes and has to pick it up. We don't have to do anything.
All right, any discussions around those items besides question about the mileage? All right, do you have a motion? A motion to adopt resolution 563, surplus of equipment and vehicles. All in favor of that motion? Aye. Motion passed. Relocation.
This was a rather large item that didn't get put into the original quote for moving of the business, a large safe. And so this is the updated quote for moving that one thing. Again, they only get paid if the movers actually move it. And so there's still a question whether they will move it, have the movers move it, or whether it will, of any other options that they might do. So this is a bid for that. You accept the bid, and then if it gets used, we would then reimburse the movers for that. And again, this is all required by law.
So if it doesn't get moved, then what happens?
Like anything, if in the purchase and sale agreement, there is some penalties for left personal property. It's not a simple way to figure it out. So if they leave a bunch of personal property, then there's damages that we can assess on them. Let's say if it's just the safe, that probably wouldn't count as that. It would just be part of the demolition contract that you would approve. My hope is to bring you demolition quotes next meeting.
Is that the one for 3,800?
My computer just locked up, so I'm reopening the packet. I thought it was 4,400.
40 something, yeah,
Okay.
4,000 something, yeah.
All right. Guess my question is how much does that safe cost?
It is
Does that not
it is
matter
an
to us?
antique safe. It is a very, very old, very, very special, very, very unique safe.
All right. All right, do I have a motion to accept the bid as presented?
I move that we do so.
All right. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Motion passed. Large warrants, True North, Fire Engine, and rent supplies.
Yeah, so I'll just review the general process. So our policy says that anything you approve under 50,000, we can write and sign the warrants, or, yeah, under 50,000. Anything over 50,000, you guys still have to approve the warrants. So these are all expenditures that the board has approved previously, but now you're approving the actual check for those approved expenses for these two.
Do you have a motion for the large warrants, or sorry, do I have any discussion on the large warrants? Questions, comments, concerns?
I'll move we approve the large warrant for True North in the amount of $94,313.55, and for rent support in the amount of $61,950.00.
All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Motion passed. All right, regular meeting schedule.
Yeah, so every year we need to adopt a regular meeting schedule per the RCW. It needs to set a recurring time and date. And so this discontinues the second Monday of the month. We can adjust any regular meeting at the regular meeting before that meeting or at special meetings as needed throughout the year.
Well, I'll move we adopt a resolution 564 as presented.
I have just one comment on that. I am obviously going to need to make those adjustments because I'll be working a few days here and there. But that's it. I'm in favor of that motion. All in favor of that motion? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. And I got to do something on my computer. I pulled it up and this is what I saw.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I think it's the setting on the computer. It's like all black. It doesn't let any of the color through. So
We had a computer guy left. Yeah, he might have did that. Yeah.
Stuff on your computer, so.
all right, Chief's report.
I'll start out. So on the ops report, besides what's authored there, I have a few updates. The confined space class that we're hoping to host in May, Aaron Hammer and I went and did a site visit at Station 83 and really like their confined space prop they have, so that'll work for a portion of the class. And then I have a meeting next week with the City of Snohomish to look at some off-site locations for part of that training. But I'd say we're 99% positive we'll be hosting, District 4 will be hosting a tech rescue confined space class in 2024 in May. We've also started the process of evaluating, along with myself and training division, the Pine property for what kind of drilling can be done on the various houses. I think we've identified maybe up to 4 structures that potentially could be used for live fire training. And then we've evaluated the rest of the structures to see what kind of drills we can get out of those. We're formulating a plan to start using those properties here early in 24. And then we have one in attendance, Mason Tucker, was one of the 4 candidates that got off of our probationary testing. So congratulations.
Congrats.
Any questions?
How many structures are on the Pine property that were,
Oh, man,
I know there's quite a few.
there's probably about 6 or 7 homes and then a whole bunch of, and then the large business and then a lot of outbuildings. And I think out of everything we toured, there was 4 of the homes that we think would be candidates for live fire, and the rest of them are in various disrepair that we would, it'd be more,
Some of them we don't even want to go in.
yeah, it'd be more work trying to get them up to where you could even do that. So a few of them will just be more than likely just disposed of and little training value, maybe some exterior work on it, but we're pretty excited. Garrett, one of our lieutenants, he's on the truck committee, went down and toured, and we had somebody from the engine committee, and there's some hose evolutions on some of the bigger buildings we don't get to do, so some hose stretches. We're hoping to put together a pretty good plan and get as much use as we possibly can before we dispose of them.
And the process to get those all abated and get the county to sign off on all that.
That's still in process, so the abatement part
Yeah.
still have to be done.
Time frame of that, is it gonna?
So we got our testing back, so we know that, and so I've asked only contractors that are on MSRC, so we can use that, and only contractors that I could get a reference from county fire chiefs. And so we have 3 demo contractors that are working on it. I've only got 1 back, and I've also asked them to do the abatement. So I'm also only looking for contractors that can do the abatement and the demo. So we just have to do 1, right? So a lot of demo people don't do the abatement, a lot of abatement people don't do demo. Anyways, I've only got 1 back so far, and they thought it would be a 20-day project from start abatement to be done. We're also asking them that's why we're kind of working with training, is to do to try to streamline everything we're doing, to do like a roll, right? And so the training has a plan of how to move through. They can start before our training's done of the demo, and that way, as we're doing some of the demo, we'll have equipment on site. And so that we'll start training halfway through that. The demo will start on the stuff that we've left. We'll get done training in a week, and then they'll just come around and finish in that 20 days. And so they have to abate before we train, right? And so they don't want to do a dual mobilization, so that's why we're doing the roll. So they're going to come up and abate. We're going to start training. They're going to be doing abatement. We trained on the first ones they abated. They'll start tearing down, and we'll move around the property. And so it's going to be this choreographed dance that we're going to do to get as much out of it as we can without causing any issues to the timeline.
Cool.
If we burn some of the buildings, do we have to coordinate that with the city and so forth like that?
Yeah, there's
Or traffic
Yeah.
and all that, those kind of
there's
things?
lots of coordination. And that's the other thing, is we got to get a permit to do it, but it's the same demo permit, right? So if we can apply for the burning at the same time we're doing the demo, that's one less hoop we have to do and one less fee we have to pay. So we've already got, just for an update, we've already got PSE scheduled to cut and cap the gas. The most of the water to all the property's been turned off. The city's already working on cutting and capping the water, pulling the meters. PUD has already started dropping lines. They're dropping lines, pulling meters. So again, by the time we do this, we will have all the utilities off the whole site before we even start training in the demo, which should be able to start first half of January.
Say that again?
First half of January.
Holy smokes.
Good.
Sounds fun. That's fast.
The only other thing I'd add is, I was reading through the report I gave you guys, is that we do have 4 part-time recruits that are graduating the academy on this Thursday. So they'll still have close to a month of post-academy training, but they're graduating the county academy Thursday.
You're doing well.
Good. Where's the county academy taking place then?
It's up towards Stanwood. North County Fire opened a new training facility up there, so it's up pretty close to the border, just past the Stanwood exit. Not quite Canada, Atiza County border.
You always tell me I live in Canada. Which one is it?
Questions? No?
All right. I have my stuff in for you. A couple of things I'd like to add. I can't say enough about Christine Heike. I did get one thing in here. But I told you about the senior center, told you about the safety town hall. Sam, our other gal in the office, attends community coordinating committee meetings with me once a month as well. And she has stepped up with the information that we're getting out to the public, our social media, that kind of stuff. Done a remarkable job, and people have made some very positive comments when we're at the community coordinating meeting. And these are the people that are looking at all the stuff that's going on. So kudos to Sam. With our regional safety group, we're still looking at a new decon policy with decon information being added to dispatch. So we've gone to the county fire chiefs with some draft language that we'd like to see all of our incident commanders put into play when they're on scene and people are actually exposed and they're going into the fire and the products of combustion. So just finished up and did our fire program survey, finished up our first year in the LNI fire program. We're already signed up for next year, completed our survey. We have done some things here at headquarters, especially where we've needed some real simple things like closing the bay doors, closing the apparatus doors that go into the living quarters instead of leaving them open all the time with any of that diesel exhaust. It has helped study how we think we can design the new station. And a lot of stations have implemented safety in with exhaust from the apparatus, keeping the bunker gear out of the apparatus bays anymore, simple things like that, having real good exhaust capture systems and removal systems that are going on. We got our Lucas device in that we got off of the grant for LNI. Neil, our MSO, is working with the computer people. It has to be linked to the apparatus and then linked to our life pack. And then it'll go in service. So we're expecting that to happen next week. And then we'll have 2 of those in service. And the last thing with our regional training group is there's still a lot of studies going on with the PFAS, the forever chemicals in our bunker gear, and ways to help reduce exposure to our firefighters with that. Other than that, any questions about anything else I had on here?
I did not have any questions. Anybody?
Thank you.
All right.
Just a couple quick updates for me. The ground emergency medical transport audit. We had a meeting today, and we're going to get our preliminary copy of our cost report. We did sign that, turn that in, complete on that. And that's just really the first step, and then they'll go through and they'll finalize numbers and adjust things, and then we get a final copy. There's a whole bunch of steps to it. So anyways, first step done. And then I also had my first meeting with the SAO audit for our annual today. Went well. Other than that, the information I provided in there is current and up to date.
Well, I would encourage the new commissioners to consider sitting in on the audit when it's finalized and sitting in and hearing the report back. It was enlightening for me to do that, and I don't know if it was for you too, but that might be something that you can work out with the chief over there if you're interested in doing that, because I think it would be one of the steps of being part of helping out the district as a whole and seeing how it flows well and so forth like that.
In fact, they offered, and they're going to reach out to you each by email, but to see if you would be interested in attending a preliminary, such 10 questions, takes about 10, 20 minutes. They can do it by phone call, by email, but they always extend the invitation. It's the first process or step in the process to our annual audit. I went through it today. They just generally asked some questions about, do you think there's any areas in the district where there's problems, anything where there might be some fraud? If there was, where might it be? Those kinds of things. So I let them know that we had 2 new commissioners that probably wouldn't have a whole lot of history or information to give, but would like to extend that invitation. So pretty dry material that they can do it over the phone. And then they also invite the chief along, so. She does do that. If we have more than one commissioner involved, she would do that individually. So we wouldn't have a meeting. So anyways, just watch your email for that, and you can take her up on that if you're interested.
Hey, mine, mostly the property stuff. From what I already said, we're also working on the moving. 2 residents are moved out. We have keys for 3 of the houses. One of the houses doesn't have doors. So there are no keys, I guess the best way to say it. Fences coming Wednesday for the security. We've worked out with the property owner. That's all going to work. They're appreciative of that. Actually, Commissioner Flath and I met with the head of the Pursuit Church. It was a positive meeting. They're better understand what's going on, and we'll keep communications with them along with all the residents there as we start moving towards demolition and burning. And so we'll probably have the staff put up a website that's just for that we can put a QR code links to that has up-to-date information of what's happening. We're still at mediation. We have a mediation on the 14th to try to finalize the holdback agreement. So hopefully that will be a final resolution to that. The city is scheduled, or have they delivered, or just scheduled the payments?
Oh.
Payments? We haven't got them yet?
No, just partial, yeah.
Yes, the 3.
Just 2.
Okay.
Oh, third one, give it today.
Okay.
Yes.
So the city's paid their 50% of their purchase price. We just got the 3rd check of that. So now we have 90 days to reconcile our shared costs to come up with a final who owes who what between the 50% of the property and all of the other costs we've all been paying. So within 90 days, we should have that mostly resolved. There'll probably still be some stragglers. It'll take a few months to get the final receipts in. After the demo will kind of be the last major thing that we're doing shared. Unless there's something that really makes sense, maybe when we do the streets, that we then do that again. But other than that, we're really going to go to now our 2 separate projects, doing them on our own. So like I said, the demo might not happen in that 90 days, but we'll chew up within a couple months after that, and then we'll all be doing our own thing. Like I said before, a good training plan for the site. I'm going to get a lot of value out of that, and think that'll be important. And now I'm just working on all those permits. Got to have a permit to cap the gas. Got to have a permit to put the fence on the sidewalk. Got to have a permit to got to have a permit, and so just doing a lot of hoops with that. And this is that benefit of why we're partnered with the city, is because they're helping me with a lot of those, or just doing it. So that's most of the property. Our engine, we had the final inspection. Sean and Gary went down to Oregon, Hillsboro, did the final inspection. We hope to have that sometime in January if we're lucky. And then we can finish putting that in service. And then our 2 student staff vehicles have been paid for, and we're just arranging getting them to canopy and slide outs and all that to get that going.
Any questions? No? All right, commissioner comments.
Yeah, I wrote a bunch of stuff down so I wouldn't forget tonight. So anyway, you just have to bear with me since this is my last meeting here with, after 6 years. It's really been a privilege and an honor to serve the citizens of Fire District 4 here in Snohomish County as one of the fire commissioners. And during these years, I've worked with a number of different fire commissioners, and we've tried to work together well for the citizens of the district, and to do the best that we could with the available funds that the citizens trusted us with in their taxes. And I was really thankful too. I was remembering the dedication of our firefighters and our paramedics and our officers and chiefs and office staff and other workers and chaplains and the fire chiefs I've worked with. And it's been a joy, even though sometimes we're kind of rocky, but it's been a joy doing work like that for the community. It's also been challenging at times to make decisions as a board, particularly, some of the years when the finances, with the inflation and so forth like that, I think made it more challenging. And yet to continue to provide our citizens with really top-notch service by all of our folks. And so at various times during these past 6 years, and in a number of different ways, many of the residents of the fire district Fire District 4 have spoken to me, and they've talked to me about various topics. And I want to thank them. All are on the view there, if they view that as well, for your questions and concerns and opinions and encouraging words, even and especially during the times like when we were facing with COVID and what we were going to do with our firefighters and so forth like that. I thank you also to the citizens for the words of praise and for a job well done that they shared with me. Many people did for our wonderful firefighters and paramedics and all that they've done for those people. And they shared stories about how our folks helped them. And so just pass along those words to our people as well. I have to, though, indicate that I've also talked with lots of folks that are outside of our district. And they've spoken with me over the years, and many of them were fellow fire commissioners of different districts all over the state. And most of the time, those were very pleasant conversations. And even though we didn't always agree on things, it was good to hear what other folks were doing. But two conversations in particular with other fire commissioners I found to be very challenging. And I'm saying this particularly on your behalf here as the new commissioners, and you too have it. And these both happened within the last 6 months. And they both came from certain fire commissioners. And if they're going to view this a little later, I would encourage them to share their strong feelings to the board with email letters about the subjects that they discussed with me. Just like our citizens communicate with our board members too in various ways through emails and stuff like that. I'm also encouraging the board in 2024 to follow up on the letter that we sent to South County Fire and their response to us. And I would suggest hiring the same consultant to do a review of South County so that you would have, apples and apples type of from the same individual rather than getting a different consultant in. And I think that's important so that the board can use all that information to help make some wise decisions, as you go down the line and how do we want to go forward. And I would suggest that the consultant interview our new board members if you get him. And that I think would help in the development of the future plan for the Fire District 4. as we work with other fire entities in our area here. I also put this down. Do you have any questions for me?
Some of the other question. Besides us. Somebody, just give them one.
No, I'm always asking you folks questions and stuff like that, so
What are you gonna do with your free time now?
I don't have much.
You're asking.
Anyways, no, actually, I'm a retired Lutheran minister, and I've been helping out in congregations when their pastors like go on vacation or retire and things like that. So I'm going to continue to do that as well. And I'm also going to continue after December 31st, 2023, to continue to pray for the board. And I've done that in the past, and I've told the board in the past that I was praying for. And I'm going to continue to do that. But not only that, I've also been praying for all our district folks. All those who are employed by the fire district. So the firefighters, the paramedics, the officers, the chiefs, the office staff, other workers, the chaplains, and the fire chief. And I think that's important. You don't have to necessarily believe in that, but I do believe that that's an important aspect to in keeping this going and doing what's best for our citizens and using the resources that we've been blessed with here as a board to work with, and the various individuals that have been brought in here to do the work that we actually set out. This is what we'd like to do for our citizens. And so I think I just wanted to share that as well. I thank you for your time. I know particularly these folks over here, I spent a bunch of time asking them questions and things like that's important. So I just want to close with saying I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a very safe New Year.
Thank you for your years of service. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Came up under you and Jim, and
Yeah.
you guys have taught me a lot. So thank you so much, and wish you your best in your next
Okay.
chapter.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, also, we did receive a letter from South County, and that was
Oh.
one thing that, they wrote back and started Surfer, and
Yeah.
I believe after the first of the year, we'll engage with both of them
Yeah.
and have that conversation together.
Sure.
So.
Good.
Any other commissioner comments?
Nothing else for me. No, good.
All right. Well, one other thing that I wanted to put in the meeting minutes is that we were working on doing a retreat with just this commissioners, and you're working on dates for us, and that will be in January, just to get us all on the same page, get a new board. So just wanted that to reflect in the meeting. That's all right. Let's see if there's anything else. Nope. We'll adjourn the meeting at 20:49.